Hello, beautiful creative friends, and happy Christmas in July. It's Belinda, and I'm here today to share with you my first project for Rosie's studio as a guest crafter with their absolutely gorgeous All Wrapped Up collection. This is going to be quite a clean and simple and quick layout to put together. I've just shown you there, I've got 3 photos of my little family, and I have backed a cut file already off camera, and that cut file is from Cut to You. You'll find the details of that down in my description box below. I have also stitched a grid through the center of my white cardstock background, and my little trick for doing that, I used a ruler and a lead pencil, a really light lead pencil, to rule the lines, and then I took the thread out of my sewing machine and stitched some holes using my sewing machine down those lines. So that's how I got those stitching holes nice and straight and nice and evenly spaced, and it made it super quick for me to then go and hand stitch. So while I've been chatting away there, I'm just backing my photos with a little bit of pattern paper from the 6x6 paper pad. Now, if you head down into my description box below, Rosie's Studio have been very generous in extending a 10% discount code for my subscribers to purchase this collection from them at their website. So it's valid through till the end of December. So if you're not quite ready to pull the trigger on ordering a Christmas collection yet, you do still have time, provided it remains in stock at Rosie's Studio. But if you head down into my description box below, you'll be able to find the code as well as just some of the little terms and conditions that apply. I will definitely be picking up some more of this collection. I have already used quite a bit of the 12x12 papers, and so I can see that having another set of 12x12 papers will definitely help me to extend my use of this kit, because it is jam-packed full of embellishments. And while I have been chattering away there, what you have seen me do on camera is I've just taken some chipboard. Now this is it was a 12x12 piece of cardboard that came in a delivery that, you know, I ordered some pattern paper or something, some kind of scrapbooking product, and it comes with these sheets of really thick cardboard or chipboard to keep things from bending. I always keep those now, and I pop them to the side, and I use those for when I want to add dimension. Most of the time these days I'm shying away from using the foam sheets, the kid foam sheets, because they're just a little bit too thick, and I'm trying to keep my layouts as flat as I can so that I can fit more into my albums. So that chipboard is just the perfect height for bringing things up off the page just a little bit without adding too much bulk. So I've trimmed some of that down, and I've added it behind each of those 3 photos, and then the photos, as you can see, they're going diagonally down the page, and I'm going to embellish just a couple of the squares remaining in the grid. So this cut file, it's a pretty little banner cut file. This is actually where I started with this layout. I started with the banner cut file and then worked from there, and that's how I ended up with my design. So that little banner is going to go over the top right and cover a couple of those grid positions. To try and add a little bit of dimension here, I have my trusty roll of giant foam tape, which I get from Bunnings. It's a hardware store here in Australia. I pay a little bit more to get the acid-free version, but even paying a little bit more, I think that giant roll is maybe $16, so it's very inexpensive. It's got a really good, strong adhesive on it. The downside is that because it does have a strong adhesive, the backing can be a little bit tricky to pull off sometimes, and I think you'll see me fiddling away with that in just a little while. So I have typed up my journaling on my typewriter. That is absolutely my favorite way to add journaling to my layouts. I made sure that it was small enough to fit nicely into one of the grids and still leave some space for a little bit of embellishing. The title for this layout is Together, and that's come from those gold foil puffy words or puffy stickers that were in the collection. And I'm going to pop it onto some greaseproof or some waxed paper first, because at this point in the process, I wasn't entirely sure where I wanted the title and journaling to go. I had initially thought that I would put it down into that grid space on the bottom left. And so I'm trimming it down so that I can just have a bit of a play and see what works better for my eye. I'm really just gauging, looking to see how things balance. And I decide that no, I don't really want it there in that bottom right. I actually want to keep that bottom right corner quite open, just to keep, because as I said, this is a very clean layout that I'm going for here. So I've decided to put my title and my journaling into that middle grid place. Middle grid, they're not squares, that's why I can't call them squares, because they're not squares, they're more rectangular. But I am adding a little bit of wet glue to the back of the title. The adhesive on these puffy stickers is quite strong, but I just, going back through some of my old albums, I have found that some adhesives have just given up over time. So a lot of the time now I choose to add just a little bit of the, it's the art glitter glue that I use, Art Institute glitter glue, and I add just a little bit just to add that little bit of extra adhesive and hopefully make them stay put for a longer period of time. So as I mentioned before, my journaling has been typed up on my typewriter, and I've cut that down into strips, and then I have just adhered it down nice and straight underneath the title. And then I'm going to fill that awkward gap there to the top right of that grid rectangle. I'm going to fill that with some ephemera. So I've got this beautiful little Christmassy floral. I'm going to tuck that in. I've added just a little bit or a few pieces of foam squares to the outside foliage. That's to help it stand out, but also because the photos are lifted up just a little bit. The foliage needs a little bit of dimension so that it sits flat and doesn't end up bent in the middle. I have that little journaling tag there, which says, I think it says magical memories, something like that. It was a larger piece. It was more of a square piece, but I cut the bottom of that off because I just wanted the top with the words on it to be peeking out. And I am using a snowflake. There is absolutely nothing cold, or snow is the furthest thing from our Christmas experience here in Western Australia. But it does add a pretty little layering piece. And so over the last few years, I've learned to embrace the snowflakes a little bit more and just include them in lots of embellishment clusters, but also including them, recognizing that for very commercial reasons, snowflakes are part of an icon that we just associate with Christmas, even though Christmas here in Australia is not cold, it's the middle of summer. So there's another snowflake going into the little embellishment cluster that I'm building now, and that one's going in the middle. Again, I'm using some foam adhesive. I do have a few different types of foam adhesive in my stash, and some are a higher profile, some are a lower profile, and I like to alternate using those just to add different levels and different layers to my projects. I'm going to add this ticket. I love using tickets on my projects. I don't know what it is about them. I just really love tickets. They're fun. They're a fun little embellishment piece for me. So I'm going to layer that there on top. And then I also have this. It's also another little tickety piece that I'm going to adhere down to the bottom of that. I think I've got a few little sprinkles left to add by the way of embellishing, and then what you don't see me do on camera, but I do, you will see in the close-up photos that are coming at the end, is I go back and I add some of my favorite Nuvo drops. I've chosen some of the jewel drops so they are slightly transparent, and you will see those in the close-up photos coming in just a moment. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would love for you to give me a like or leave me a comment. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to go and hit that subscribe button so that you can join me in my upcoming paper crafting adventures. I will leave it there for now and say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. you.